Hey everybody! Welcome to Lunch and Learn, episode 41. And today we're going to talk about how I handle hearing the word no. And before I go into some tactics to even prevent ever hearing the word no, I wanted to say that a good idea is to have proper expectations right up front. So my first tip is really having the right expectations is that, first of all, you're not in a selling business, right? You're in the business of sharing products or services with your network, or sharing a business opportunity with your network, and you're not looking for everyone to say yes. Would that be awesome? Of course it would, but is that realistic? No. So if you go into your network thinking everyone's going to say yes, you're going to be very, very, very disappointed. Now, rejection is one of the top 4 fears of all human beings, and I will validate the fact that it is very real. But if you have the right expectations and you have the right mindset from the beginning, you really can help yourself to not feel personally offended by it, right? Like, my friend is a realtor, and if I have a real estate need, or if I have somebody that I know says, hey, do you know a realtor? I'm going to refer my friend who is a real estate agent. Now, every time she sells somebody a house, she doesn't try to convince them to be a realtor, right? Or every time somebody sells a mortgage, they don't always try to convince everyone to sell mortgages, right? Now, the good news about network marketing is that anybody can do it. The bad news is that anyone can do it, right? So there is a lot of people that come in and realize it's not the industry for them, or they're not passionate about it, or maybe they get recruited by a friend into a company and they realize that company is great for their friend, but it's not for me. Like, for example, technology is not my gig, right? I have some friends that have made millions and millions of dollars selling, cell phone service and insurance. I have friends that have made money doing all kinds of services. That's not my deal. Good for all the people out there, because, diversity is the spice of life, right? It's great that, if everyone only liked to do health and wellness, then all of the companies that had services would be out of luck, right? If everyone only liked to do services, all the product-based companies would be out of luck. So you have to have a spectrum of people. And so the proper expectations up front is that, number one, you're not looking for everyone to be a yes, and you have to be okay with the fact, even if you think, I think our product is the best product on planet Earth, or I wouldn't be in the company. Do I think everybody needs my product? Yes, 100%. That's why I'm here. But 100% of people won't, and I'm okay with that. Starbucks is okay with other coffee chains like Pete's, for example. They're not out of business, right? Coke and Pepsi. In fact, competition is actually good, because then you can actually stand out and you can actually edge yourself out. So no is okay. No is okay. I'm going to teach you a trick, and I'll save that to the very end, but have the proper mindset that you're more of a sorter. You're not a seller, you're a sorter. You're looking for people who are looking for what you have. So correct, proper mindset, correct expectations are key, so that you don't get discouraged. And I know that a lot of you have probably heard this analogy a zillion times before. I've heard it a million times. It's still the best analogy out there. Is like, if I'm a waitress at a diner, and I have I go in the back every 10 minutes and I grab my coffee. This is my coffee, by the way, today. And I go up to people and I walk around the 20 tables in the restaurant and I say, do you want coffee? No. I don't go, I don't want my coffee. I'd quit, take off my apron and quit, because one person doesn't want coffee. I'm indifferent. You have to be indifferent. You have to be unattached and be okay with the fact that this is not for everyone. Even if you think it's the greatest thing in the whole world, even if you love your products or you love your services, you love your company, and everyone's making zillions of dollars, it's not going to be for everyone, right? Do you want coffee? No. Do you want coffee? No. Do you want coffee? Yeah, I'll have a little. Do you want coffee? Yes, I'd love coffee. Do you want coffee? I don't like coffee. It's okay. Some people are not going to like MLM. It's okay. I don't like a million jobs out there. I would never want to be a trash collector. I would never want to be a pole climber for PG&E, for the electric company. I would never want to, scrape snow off the side of the road. I would never want to clean a porta potty. There's a million jobs. I would never want to be a plumber or an electrician. I would never want to be a dentist. I don't want to be in people's mouth all day, right? I don't want to be a surgeon. I don't want to cut open brains, right? There's a million jobs. Oh, I don't want to be a teacher. I don't even know how they handle My kids are home for holiday today, and I'm like, when's school time again? Like, I love them, but man, I couldn't handle 30 of them all day. So there's a lot of different jobs I don't want to do. And it's okay. Professions aren't offended. Don't be offended. If someone says, I don't really like network marketing, the idea of it, it's okay. It doesn't mean it's not a great business model. It's a phenomenal business model. It's almost $200 billion sales worldwide. It's not for everybody. So you really have to understand that what you have is not for everybody. And your job isn't try to sell everybody. Like, sales is nothing more than giving people enough information for them to make a decision. That's what sales is. So we're all salespeople, by the way. Don't ever let me hear you say I'm not a salesperson. You're all salespeople, by the way. If you're married, you're a salesperson. If you have a job, you're a salesperson. You have to sell yourself on your spouse. You had to sell yourself on a boss. So we're all salespeople, right? Selling is nothing more than giving people enough information to make a decision. Now, are there tactics that, people in sales jobs do? Like, for example, a car salesman might try to convince you because they know that if you statistically walk off that lot, then they might lose you to the dealer down the street or another car, right? So they're going to try to sell you and give you information in a very condensed, quick manner, right? And it's going to seem like they're pressuring you, and some people are uncomfortable with that. And so, just realize that the person who wins in network marketing is the person who shares the company and the product or service story with the most people. End of story. That's it. The person who shares the story the most. Your story, right? Why you got into network marketing, what it means to you. If you don't tell your story, you're going to lose people because you have to have that personal connection. They have to think, well, what's in it for me? What if I do this, right? So your story, the company story, right? What's your company story? And why they might want the products or services, the benefits for their life, right? That's all you do all day, every day as network marketers, right? You're peak interest, you give information and you follow up. Peak interest, give information, follow up. Peak interest, that's it. And you're going to get people saying, no, thank you. Or the products aren't for me. Your services aren't for me. Or I already have something that's comparable. Or you know what? My plate's full. Like, I don't bother my friends. I have friends that are multimillionaires and they're living their dream. Your dream and our dream, my dream doesn't have to be everyone else's dreams. And you've got to be okay with your dream not being everyone else's dream, right? Some people truly are so introverted and shy that they don't even want to give people information. Like, they'd send a text, someone gives them information and says, I have questions. They won't even call them back. So you have to understand that it's not for you. You're looking for people who are looking. And by the way, you don't ever want to convince anybody, because a person convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. If you have to convince them to get in the business, you're going to have to convince them every single month to stay in the business. And that is a lot of work. You are looking to attract people who have the vision that you wanted to do what you're doing. So sharing your vision, sharing your story, sharing the story of what you're doing and why you're doing it. Another great book, Simon Sinek's Start With Why. I thought I was reading that the other day. Start with why. Go to YouTube and Google Start With Why. And people make decisions based on their feeling most of the time, not their intellect. So sharing your story and the company story is so far more powerful than feature benefit. Feature benefit, oh, this widget or this gadget or this pill or this potion or this powder is going to do this. It's like, oh, do you want to lose weight? Do you want to feel better? Do you want better sleep? Do you want to do you want to save money? Do you want an ease of technology? Like, all these things, you gotta talk about stories. You gotta tell stories, and stories don't get many no's. It's, oh, that sounds great for you, or you might get people saying, oh, I'd like some more information. But stories don't get no's very often. But yes, Tony, that was a very wise thing, because I have read this a million times. And a little sneak peek is there is a new Go for No coming out, I believe this month, that is Go for No for Network Marketing by Richard Fenton and Andrea Waltz. And Andrea has been a guest on our team call. She is a lovely person and actually interviewed me. So I am actually in the upcoming Go for No sharing a story. That was my worst rejection. Now, rejection, it does suck sometimes, and that was the worst one, and I did cry, and it was very personal to me, as you'll read in the book. Andrea, you're here, March 4th. I hope it's okay if I teased it. I hope I'm not in trouble. So anyway, Go for No. I know Andrea, she's awesome. She is awesome. Go like her page. Oh, they give so much great content. So I love this chapter. If you guys haven't read this, Andrea knows that I'm a big fan. This is one of my top 5 books that all network marketers should have in their arsenal when they're starting in the industry is this book. This book is one of my top 5, right? Go Pro, Go for No. I used to be Think and Grow Rich. Now I'm actually on to The Master Key to Riches, same author, Napoleon Hill. Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. And I can't remember the last one, but I'll write it down. So anyway, I love this chapter about the insurance company. And the chapter is called, You Don't Want Insurance, Do You? You don't want to buy insurance, do you? Well, we all know that in sales, the worst thing you can do someone is come up and give them a negative, because people like to say the word yes, right? So people like to agree with you. So if you say, you don't like, you don't like bad food, do you? People are going to go, no, I don't like bad food. Yeah, you're right. I don't like bad food, right? You should never ever lead in sales pitches with a you don't want this, right? Because then you're planning in their mind that they don't want it. And they're going to go, yeah, no, I don't want it, right? So it talked about an insurance company that was struggling. And basically what they said is studies show that as many as 80% of salespeople don't make it for their first year. For the simple reason, now this is where you guys as network marketers need to tune in, for the simple reason that they fail to make enough calls, that they fail to make enough contacts. I'll tell you, network marketers, that you're going to have to expose this. You're going to have to tell your story, the company's story, and your product or service story to as many people as you can. And you should be constantly meeting people. Hey, what do you do? You're at your kid's school. What do you do? And you should have your little teaser pitch down pat to create interest. And they say, oh, that's interesting. Give me some more information. Then you give them information and then you follow up, right? So what they did is the insurance company, he says, they will have one problem. You only have one problem. All the things is that you guys are not making enough calls. You're not talking to enough people. So that what they did is they sent out some, they sent somebody out to say, and they said, you can talk to 60 strangers in a day. In one 8-hour day, you can talk to 60 strangers, right? And if you just knocked on 60 doors and says, you don't need insurance, right? And one person out of 60 says, you know what? I actually do need insurance. Come on in. Then I can't remember, but it was ridiculous how much they increased their sales, but so much so that it saved the company. So it's like, what if you just met people and said, you're not interested in other business opportunities, are you? You're not interested in health, are you? You're not interested in skincare, are you? Why wouldn't, if you sell skincare, why wouldn't you ask every woman you know, do you use good skincare? What do you use? Do you get the results you like? Do you even know if you're getting results? How much do you pay, right? Or let's say that you sell, jewelry. Do you like jewelry? Yeah? Well, great. Where do you normally get your jewelry? What if I told you I had great jewelry? I mean, just ask questions. All you have to do is ask enough questions, pique enough interest. And you remember, it's like you don't have to say, hey, do you want to join my business? Hey, do you want to buy my product? Then you're going to get no. So I'm going to tell you my golden nugget of what I've been doing, and I have been teaching my teams this for years and years and years. If you don't ask a yes or no question, you can't get the answer no. You can't. So what I tell people is I make a list of everyone you know. Let's say you have 200 people on that list. Call all of them. And I'll give you my pitch because most people know it's on my page. It's not. I won't talk about my company or products, but I'm in a health and wellness company. So if I called 100 people, hey, my mom's passed, but most people's aren't. So I'll say, hey, Mom, it's Tara. I just started a business in health and wellness, and I'm so excited about the products that I decided to sell them. And here's what I'm looking for, Mom. I'm looking for people who want to consume them. I'm looking for people who want to also do what I'm doing is make some side income. It's, with times like this, I think everyone's looking for some side income. And I sure would love to, to do this full time someday if all goes well, right? And the third type of person, Mom, I'm looking for is if somebody's not interested in my products or services, or my business, I'm looking for people to connect me with other people that might be. So Mom, I'm going to send you some information. In my company, it's like a 6-minute video. I'm going to send you this information. Will you watch it? If you're interested, great. I can answer questions. I would love for you to be my customer. If you find something that you would use, I don't want you to just buy product to support me, Mom. I want you to see if there's something that you might use. Or if you know anybody who is an entrepreneur who might want to make some extra income. And again, Mom, if nothing else, who do you know? And these are good referrals for me, right? People who want to lose weight, people who are night shift workers who need energy, nurses, college students. Like, give them 5 people that they might like. I'm not going to tell my 69-year-old mother, college students, she probably doesn't know any college students, right? I might just say people who are sore, who have joint pain, or people who are, I'm going to think of like who my mom might know. And I'm going to say, people this, and this, and I'm going to give her ideas. Who do you know who? Who do you know who, Mom? So will you watch this information, or would you get on this call, or would you come to my living room and just support me while I'm doing this? Now, you're going to get customers, guys. You're going to get customers. If you don't get customers, then maybe you should rethink the company you're in. Because if you're not in a company that people would be genuinely interested in your products or services, if it's a hard sell, if it's like you got to talk to 100 people to sell one, no. Like in my company, I probably have to talk to 10 people to get 7 customers and maybe 1 distributor out of to 10. So, if you're not something that's like, if you're like this rare berry that's grown under the moon on Tuesdays once a year, and it's like something nobody's ever heard of and there's no studies for it, and like, you have to really try to, like, if it's like an hour-long pitch, you're not going to have a high conversion rate. People have to understand what you do very quickly and what the benefit is to them very quickly, or you will lose them. They'll say no just because they don't want to keep listening. They'll say no just because they're confused. They'll say no just because it sounds like so much work just to figure out if this is a decision or not. They'll say no sometimes if it's too expensive, right? They'll say no if it's not valid, if nobody's ever heard of it. They'll say no if they can get it for half the price down the street. So you got to really think about what you're marketing and what is your edge, and know your edge and be able to relay that edge to people. So I'm very looking forward to your book, Andrea. Thank you I'm honored that you popped on to my Lunch and Learn. But guys, here's the bottom line is, even if you ask a yes or no question, if they weren't in your business or your customer, and 5 minutes later, they're still not your business or customer, nothing in your life has changed. You have gotten better and you have gotten more experience, because you're going to have to get through a lot of no's before you get yeses. It is the name of the game, but don't take it personally. Have the proper mindset. You're sorting, not selling, and make sure you're just telling people, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm looking for. Who do you know? Who do you not know that might be my customer? Who do you know that might be would like to be partnered up with this company, and why? And who do you know that could just refer? Guys, go back to my episode of the corridor principle, and you'll see I'll just tease it. It's one of the earlier episodes I did. Maybe one of the first 5 is the 3 people who made me 90% of my income in the first network marketing company I was in. I made $460,000 in my first 2 years. I didn't know before I joined. They were all referrals from somebody in my family or friends that didn't join me. So thank you guys, and go for no. Thank you again, Andrea. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for the next Lunch and Learn episode 42. You guys all have a great day. Woo! And happy birthday to Martin Luther King Jr. And don't forget to subscribe, youtube.com/create wealth with Tara, and never miss an episode. Thanks, guys.